Hello, 7th grade. Sorry about that. My computer died unexpectedly in the midst of chapter 22. So I'm going to just go back to the beginning of the paragraph on page 216 because I want us to really focus in on what this experience is like for Jonas. So if we got a little bit interrupted, I apologize for that. Go ahead and open up to page 216. All of it was new to him. After a life of sameness and predictability, he was awed by the surprises that lay beyond each curve of the road. He slowed the bike again and again to look with wonder at wildflowers, to enjoy the throaty warble of a new bird nearby, or merely to watch the way the wind shifted the leaves in the trees. During his 12 years in the community, he had never felt such simple moments of exquisite happiness. I want you to think for a moment about his emotions right now: awe, wonder, happiness, enjoyment, surprise, things that he was never able to experience in his community. I want you to keep in mind that that is an intentional choice on the part of the community's elders, that they don't have surprises because with surprise comes negativity. They don't have happiness because with happiness comes sadness. You need to have both in order to really understand those kinds of emotions. So the creators of the community, the original elders, took away the opportunity for anyone to be able to feel these emotions in order for people to live more peaceful, predictable, painless lives. So that was we're seeing now really the cost of what's happening in the community, of all of those decisions that were made as it was created. But there were desperate fears building in him now as well. The most relentless of his new fears was that they would starve. Now that they had left the cultivated fields behind them, it was almost impossible to find food. They finished the meager store of potatoes and carrots he had saved from the last agricultural area, and now they were always hungry. Jonas knelt by a stream and tried without success to catch a fish with his hands. Frustrated, he threw rocks into the water, knowing even as he did so that it was useless. Finally, in desperation, he fashioned a makeshift net, looping the strands of Gabriel's blanket around a curved stick. After countless tries, the net yielded 2 flopping silvery fish. Methodically, Jonas hacked them to pieces with a sharp rock and fed the raw shreds to himself and to Gabriel. They ate some berries and tried without success to catch a bird. At night, while Gabriel slept behind him, Jonas lay awake, tortured by hunger, remembering his life in the community where meals were delivered to each dwelling every day. He tried to use the flagging power of his memory to recreate meals and managed brief, tantalizing fragments. Banquets with huge roasted meats, birthday parties with thick frosted cakes, and lush fruits picked and eaten, sun-warmed and dripping from trees. But when the memory glimpses subsided, he was left with the gnawing, painful emptiness. Jonas remembered suddenly and grimly the time in his childhood when he had been chastised for misusing a word. The word had been starving. "You have never been starving," he had been told. "You will never be starving." Now he was. If he had stayed in the community, he would not be. It was as simple as that. Once he had yearned for choice. Then, when he had had a choice, he had made the wrong one, the choice to leave. And now he was starving. Did he make the wrong choice? But if he had stayed, his thoughts continued. If he had stayed, he would have starved in other ways. He would have lived a life hungry for feelings, for color, for love. And Gabriel? For Gabriel, there would have been no life at all. So really, there had not been a choice at all. It became a struggle to ride the bicycle as Jonas weakened from lack of food and realized at the same time that he was encountering something he had for a long time yearned to see. Hills. His sprained ankle throbbed as he forced the pedal downward in an effort that was almost beyond him. and the weather was changing. It rained for 2 days. Jonas had never seen rain, though he had experienced it often in the memories. He had liked those rains, enjoyed the new feeling of it. But this was different. He and Gabriel became cold and wet, and it was hard to get dry, even when sunshine occasionally followed. Gabriel had not cried during the long, frightening journey. Now he did. He cried because he was hungry and cold and terribly weak. Jonas cried too for the same reasons, and another reason as well. He wept because he was afraid now that he could not save Gabriel. He no longer cared about himself. As we approach the end of The Giver, I want you to just continue thinking about the choices that Jonas is making, the choices that he recognizes he's making, and ones that maybe he doesn't see as choices, but that we might be able to see from where we are in our society. And as you're observing those choices, I want you to think, what would you do in that situation? What is the right thing to do in that situation? As we start to see sort of what comes of this ultimate choice Jonas has made, I want you to think critically about not only what it means for Jonas as an individual, but how it reflects on his experience as a part of this community and what he's leaving behind. As we get ready to start our next text, Lord of the Flies, we're going to see a very different experience of communities and individuals. So I want to make sure that we're seeing not only the individual choices Jonas is making, how they impact him, but how they impact everyone around him, how they reflect on the society as a whole. Can he survive on his own? And if not, why not? And why is he choosing to try anyway? So we're going to continue thinking about and exploring that as we get into this last chapter. So I hope that you are enjoying it. I encourage you, if you would like, to finish up this chapter. It's only a couple of pages. I am going to read it out loud over the next couple of days, but whenever you are ready, we're going to go ahead and finish it up and end our discussion of this sort of new and different text. So enjoy the rest of your day. Make sure you're staying safe and healthy, and please, 7th grade, stay inside.